And so today I have with me such a dear old friend, Mary Firestone, who is coming to us from California. Where are you right now?
Santa Barbara.
Beautiful Santa Barbara, beautiful, lovely Santa Barbara. I was just out there last month with my kids, showing them our old haunts, showing them I used to live, where I lived when they were born. It was so fun. I love it out there. So super jealous. But Mary, so it's been so long since I've talked to you. I'm seriously, I have this little YouTube show that like no one's paying attention to, and the only reason I have it is so I could catch up with people I haven't talked to in a long time. It's just an excuse to like, no one wants to talk on the phone. I mean, I could send you memes, but it's not quite the same. But what has been going on for the last however many years?
I know, my gosh, Thea, it's been, I don't even want to say how long because that
Been
just
a while.
dates us.
It's been a while. I was an assistant at Julia Roberts' production company, and our studio was called Revolution Studios East, who owned us. And when, wait, did you work there when I got there, or did I meet you after you left?
I think I worked there. No, did we meet even before Thea? Maybe.
I don't think so. You feel like you've known me for your whole life, but you really haven't.
Yeah,
I think that I met you working for Julia, but it was like a quick brief, and then we just stayed friends.
yeah, because I
Oh,
worked for Julia too, for Deb Schindler first, and
right,
then I was the story editor.
right,
And that lasted 9 months.
right. Good
And
for
then
you.
yeah, we
Wow.
friends.
So we're basically veterans of the same war, which is Hollywood production companies development in the 90s. And that's how I met you. But we just, I don't know, like I just somehow we stayed friends, which is unbelievable, actually, if you think about it. But we
Uh,
did have this shared experience of working at, and it was a tough place to work. It was not like an easy, it was high energy. It was a lot, there's a lot of pressure when you work for such a big, huge celebrity. And there were the studio revolution was just like a million miles an hour. I mean, we worked so hard there.
we worked so hard. Yeah, we really did. And it was all aspects, not just like your intellect, but like I felt like it was like your soul every day.
And so back then you were interested in Hollywood, but I feel like you also were acting, doing acting as well.
Yeah, I had done some of that and then figured it would be great to have a plan B. Um,
Right.
and I got my master's in clinical psychology at Pepperdine. Uh,
Amazing.
and that's sort of been like the path the last 20 years, dare I say it. But and I think it was always like being interested in people's stories, which is like what led me to Hollywood in the first place. Like how do we explore what makes people tick and dynamics, and so there's so many
I
different
mean,
avenues to do
it
that.
explains why you were such a grounding force in such a chaotic field, with that you would be interested in things like psychology. And people, I feel like my followers, so I run a Bravo fan page, which is a little reality TV-esque. And I feel like my fans would definitely know your cousin,
Yeah.
Andrew Firestone, who was the Bachelor one
Yeah.
season. I mean, you're so much more than just Andrew Firestone's cousin, but that is to be noted for the reality TV junkies out there. I remember that when that happened, I was like, yeah, I feel like you went to like some bachelor parties and were like hanging out with him a little bit back then.
He's sort of like my brother, and he's a
Right.
lot of the reason why I moved up to Santa Barbara, because he was here first and he pulled me up here. But yeah, back in our 20s, when I was an aspiring actress still, he was the Bachelor. And, they already know he knows who he picked. But when you do all the press,
You're not supposed to
so
say.
I was his date everywhere, the cousin. So I got to go to Leno with him, and God, I can't remember. There were like all these fun parties, one with like Julianne, what's her name? Pretty redheaded actress. Why am I blanking?
So he ended up picking a girl, and he didn't end up marrying her, right? No,
No, so he didn't marry her,
but
Jen,
he
Jen,
is right.
who was like cute and nice, but and then he wound up having a TV agent for having done The Bachelor.
Right.
The agent set him up with another client, Ivana, who he wound up marrying. So he did actually find his wife through.
Bachelor Nation.
Yeah.
I think he predated like Bachelor in Paradise and those like crazy spin-off shows, which is nice that he didn't have to go through all that.
He did it in the classy year.
Right, the clean era of The Bachelor, when it was just like a super wholesome show back then, where it was just like trying to find love and these nice, lovely girls. Because your family, the Firestone family, is not really probably that psyched about anything salacious, and this was great. It was amazing that he did that. And now does he have kids? Does he have kids?
He has 3 kids. The oldest just turned 16, which is wild. And then his youngest, Shane, is in my son's class at school. So they're like best friends.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's really cute.
So you have two, a son and a daughter, correct?
I have 2, a son and a daughter, and he has 3, boy, girl, boy.
And how old are your kids?
My son will be 12 in July, and my daughter just turned 7, which is so crazy.
So that brings me to another reason. So you have written an amazing book, which I do want to talk about, but the reason that you wrote it, you can tell us a little bit about what happened. You don't have to go into it in detail. I'm sure you don't want to relive it, but it has brought you to this really amazing space of like being able to help others heal from trauma. So I do want to talk about it for a minute, so you can tell us what happened.
Yeah, so we moved up to Santa Barbara, and we were looking for a house. We found like the most beautiful, perfect 1890s farmhouse in Montecito, a few doors down from Oprah, in the best public school district. And it needed a lot of work. So we did all this work. Literally, Thea, I spent 4 nights in that house. And it was when the Thomas fire had kind of ripped through our area.
I remember the Thomas fire. Oh my gosh. Everything smelled like smoke for months after that.
Yeah. So we evacuated because I was pregnant with my daughter at the time and my son was 4. So we evacuated for the fires and then came back in January and they said, oh, there might be a rainstorm, maybe a debris flow. And like coming from the East Coast, I had no idea what a debris flow meant. Anyway, so woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and tidal wave of mud and cars and boulder.
Chills just thinking about it. Oh my God.
It was really intense. It was like that Naomi Watts.
So they hadn't evacuated you. They did not.
Oh.
No.
They did. Wow. They made a mistake. They evacuated horizontally instead of vertically.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Horrible.
So I was trapped on my bathroom counter for 4 hours. I thought my then husband and son were dead. I saw the whole half of my house, 2-story house, ripped off, spun around backwards, going down the hill. Cars. I mean, it was.
So you were trapped on your bathroom sink, correct?
Yes, trapped.
Watching your house fall off and not knowing where your son and husband were.
Exactly. Thinking they had gone and like.
And it's roaring, right? Like roaring noise, so you can't hear.
So loud.
No, right.
And like torrential rain and like other people's houses flying down on this side, cars tumbling down, just like little toy cars. So I was trapped and it was light because there was a gas explosion, so I could see for a while, and then it got dark and it was.
And you couldn't see anything.
Couldn't see anything. But I will say, Thea, like in that darkness, there was definitely a presence with me. I've always believed in God and higher powers and stuff. But like there was something with me that I felt, heard, saw that kept me safe and kept me from.
It's amazing. It's amazing how much clarity you can have looking back now and saying like for sure 100% like something helped me through that. And honestly, like that's where you learn that kind of stuff. And you had it anyway. You always had that sense of spirituality, even when I've known you. But just to have it kind of really solidified, that must be so powerful.
I think it really is. And like, so that led me to writing. I had my degree in psychology. I'd been working with people and groups for years. But that level of trauma, especially for my son and my unborn daughter, I really felt pushed to like want to clean it up or like heal it best I could. So it pushed me in this whole other level of healing. And also this recognition of like, not just PTSD, which I definitely suffered from.
Of course.
And there was like what we just talked about. Like I had like seen behind the veil. It was like this recognition of like, whoa,
There is something, right?
there's so much more going on than what we can see in our three-dimensional reality or experience. And how do we like lean into that? So the book really, I interviewed all different kinds of trauma survivors, and this is kind of a common thread, like people that have been pushed to look at their own mortality in one way or another and come through it, and not just like come through it, but also then grow from it. um how it's so powerful. It makes like every day like so much more.
So what, tell people who are watching what the name of your book is, and you can get it on Amazon. And
You can get it on Amazon. It's called Trusting the Dawn: How to Choose Freedom and Joy After Trauma. And it's other people's stories. And then the whole second half is kind of like all different modalities, like some from flower essences to aromatherapy to qigong to talk therapy to ketamine, all the different.
no, it really is, because I have it, I've read it. It really is a handbook, and you can pick from it what works for you. But it really does, it's all encompassing in terms of how many aspects of healing from trauma that you cover. It's amazing. And honestly, it could apply to any part of your life. Like, not even people who've been through trauma, just someone who wants to feel better about the world and feel better about what's around us. And I love that about it. And I swear, in one book you encapsulated the calmness you bring to people that know you in real life. It's amazing. Like, we know Mary Firestone, we love Mary Firestone, she's an amazing, bubbly, warm person, and you have like somehow managed to harness that into this book. And I think that's just so special that you were able to do that.
Thank you, Thea. Well, it's been a great way to connect with other people. And I think what you just said too, it's like I talk to people about like, we like work out and we shower and we put on deodorant, like our hygiene.
We take care of so much of us, but we neglect.
Yeah,
Right,
like our
right.
emotional and energetic hygiene, like,
No,
how.
I agree. I agree. And I'm guilty of that too. We're busy. I'm a mom. I have things to do. I don't have time to take care of my inner self or and just getting in touch with the side of life that is not tangible, that is not like, okay, if you do this, you'll lose 20 pounds. And if you do this, you'll get muscles. It's not. It's something that's so much more deep, but it's so much more fulfilling when you get a handle on it and you understand like these tools I could use to actually become a happier person. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah,
And
because
so you and your sister also though have a business, right? You also have a perfume. Now tell me, I know you have more than just that you sell.
well, yeah, the perfume came out of, we do these retreats, and now we just do one retreat a year on the island of Mustique in the Caribbean, which is heaven.
So
Uh,
she does, what she's talking about is you can sign up and go. It's
you
so
can sign
amazing.
up and go to
On a
paradise.
retreat and just soak in some of the Mary Firestone energy. That's a really, I never even would have thought of that, but of course I want to pay and go on that.
It's there really, it's heaven. It's a magical place in and of itself, and the power of women coming together. And our retreats are very much about like celebrating connection to yourself again,
Mhm.
and to nature and to life. So we snorkel with the sea turtles, we dance at the beach bar, it's like green juice, wine, and a little self.
So it's like do this reset once a year so that you
Yeah.
can bring that happiness back into your regular life in the the grind. I love that idea.
Yeah. And so the fragrances I've always loved, I have like a bloodhound. I'm like, is someone smoking a cigarette 7 miles away? But I've been using aromatherapy for years, like with different essential oils. So we came up with this scent. We wanted to like anchor people back to the experience on the retreat. So we created our first perfume, is called The First. And our idea was it's an anchor. And then it's also for people that can't go, it's a retreat in a bottle. So every ingredient, every oil that we used has a purpose. Sandalwood for grounding, rose geranium calms fears, juniper is detoxifying, honeysuckle makes you feel sexy. So it was designed to make you feel good, not just smell good. And now we have
Right.
a second scent that's all about heart opening. And that we've really been like funneling. That's the business, is like these intentional, clean, non-toxic fragrances. Um, which is
Wow.
so
And
much.
I love that because I did see the documentary. I'm sure you've probably seen it, called Stink. Have you ever
Oh,
seen
I
this?
haven't, Thea. I need to
Oh my
watch
gosh, you have
it.
to watch this. It'll change your life. Well, your life is probably already changed, but for other people. And it just talks about the perfume industry and the cosmetic industry and how many loopholes there are in getting in. Like you can just say a product just has a fragrance, and the fragrance is listed just as fragrance, and you don't know that that's 75 toxins in that quote unquote fragrance. It talks about all that stuff about how smelling good can kill people. It has like a pair of pajamas that has toxins coming from India that they sell these to little kids, and they get away with it because of this loophole and this loophole. And it is so eye-opening when you think about, oh, I know what I'm putting on my body and putting in my body. No, you really don't in our country. You really don't. So it's great to know that you're interested in clean and things that are going to make you better and not worse.
Yeah, and you spray, you think about a lot of these like fancy luxury big name perfumes full of synthetic toxins. You
Exactly.
spray them right on your thyroid. So
I know.
completely disrupting your
And
endocrine
it disrupts
system.
your hormones. I mean, all this stuff has been proven to make people really sick, and it's crazy. This is why I love Europe more than America, because they really are on top of it out there, and here we just don't care. Obviously, so many other problems, but one of the problems being that no one cares. If they're making money, they don't care if they're poisoning you, and that's the problem. So
Yeah.
it's so wonderful that you have a product that really cares about that.
Yeah. And we had a big moment when Lana Del Rey, she said in an interview she wears our perfume, and it was like the next morning we woke up and we're like, oh, like why do we have all these new orders and
Wait,
new
she called out your perfume by name?
she called it out in some like in a little YouTube interview, and all of a sudden it was like boop 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 boop. So
Wow.
thank you, Lana.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, I mean, she wouldn't have done that if it wasn't a transformative fragrance because she doesn't know you.
Thank you, Thea. No, she does not know us. So,
Oh, wow. I feel like with your connections in the industry, you could probably have that happen more often, a little less organically if you wanted to.
working on it, Thea, but it's like the fine line of you never want to ask.
You
And
don't want to say like, hi, remember I did this for you. Now it's time to pay up. Can you please mention my project? I know it's such a hard thing because obviously you have a business and you're trying to, be successful at it. But, and also you don't want everybody shilling for your product. I mean, that's a little inorganic as well. But it is nice when someone famous likes it. I'm sure that you send it to people in gifts, and
we've
that's
definitely,
that's
we've,
probably as far as I would go. Like, here it is. Now you do with it what you will.
yeah. And yeah, we just did a talk. We were the speakers at the Women in Business at, San Marcos High School last week. I think it was so sweet. All like 50 young entrepreneurs, and Lucy and I were the guest speakers. And I need to take my own advice. We're like, you know what? People cannot say yes unless you ask. And yet,
True.
like we get stuck in our own, you can ask politely, give them an out, but they're not going to say yes if you don't ask.
The worst that can happen is they say no, or they just don't get back to you. And
Exactly.
that's the end of the transaction. But it is hard, and it's hard to, because in this day and age, everyone's selling you something, right? And I'm averse to that. I'm sure you're averse to that, just knowing your
Yeah.
personality. So you don't want to become part of the problem, and there it is everywhere. So but you do walk that line, because I have not seen your fragrance everywhere. So it's nice that it's a select few, including Lana Del Rey, are enjoying your lovely fragrance. And it's you and your sister, which I think is so cute, right? You and Lucy.
Yeah. We really, it's a lot of fun. We've definitely been to like couples counseling together, because working with your sibling, there's like,
Your business wife, yeah.
yeah,
Your
exactly.
work wife is your sister. That's even harder.
Yeah, but it's like, the joys and the highs are like so much more rewarding because you're like getting to celebrate with your sister. So
I love that. She has two kids as well, right? So your kids play together, and I think yours are younger. Your youngest is younger than hers, right?
yeah, she has 7 and 4, two girls. So
Oh,
everyone kind of, it is great. They live around the corner. We're all going to Italy next week, this summer, staying in a house together. So it's like built in, playmates.
I would like to go to Italy for summer. Actually, I do go to Portugal for August every year because my husband is Portuguese. So I do have a little
Yeah.
Europe in my life, but I'm so obsessed with just when you eat there, when you breathe there, you just feel so much better about everything. And they really do care. And also, Portugal is not a very wealthy country, so they don't have big processing plants, and their food just doesn't have the processed stuff in it that America has, because they just financially can't. And it's amazing, because I just feel like I'm eating like bad, poorly, in my
Yeah,
opinion, but I don't feel bad. Whereas here, if I
yeah,
eat poorly, like I'm sick, right? So I
totally.
love it.
Yeah. How old are your kids, Thea?
My daughter is 6 and my son is 8.
Oh,
I know I had them very late, 47 and 49. I was 49 when I had my daughter. My son was 47, used an egg donor and in Portugal. So they're all Portuguese and they are amazing. So I'm in the mom world, but I was started very late. So I didn't even get married until I was 46. So I obviously had to take non-traditional routes. But what was great was I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have done my whole, if I had gotten married, I had a serious boyfriend when I met you. I would never have done any of the stuff I did if I just was married, wifed up at 24, which is what I wanted, by the way. I was like, 24, I'm ready. Okay, the clock's ticking.
yeah,
Thank
but
God.
yeah, I got divorced after the mudslide, and now I'm with Paul, who I actually met him. I interviewed him for the book. And
That's
we,
how you met him? Oh,
yes, I mean,
wow.
I feel like
Amazing.
it was really like a divine,
I love it.
but yeah, I feel like you skip, like the person you meet, which I met my ex-husband at 22.
They're
How,
different. They
I
change.
mean,
Yeah.
and now at like 48, how are you supposed to, like, that's just a lot to
No,
expect.
and it's stifling. I mean, even if you do like really commit to your family, which a lot of people do, and don't get divorced or whatever, you're still like part of you is stifled because you're trying to morph to be with this person who isn't anything like what you married, and that's hard too. And I feel like that puts a strain. So I'm glad that you just went with your happiness and you're happy. I love that. No, I for sure would be on second, if not third, by now if I had not waited, for sure. Although I've only had 2 other relationships in my life other than my husband, and they both died. So I have one alive person that loves me and happened to be married to him. So really, honestly, I guess it just all worked out for
Oh,
me.
sorry, Thea, that's traumatic.
Yeah, but it's great that I have the person
You have
here
a person. Yeah,
who I married and who brings Portugal to me, which I love. Portugal, Italy, just exposing your kids to Europe and different language and all that is just such a gift. To,
absolutely.
I'm truly, really highly believe. Honestly, every year I'm like, let's just go, let's just move. Why are we not moving? They have a place in Portugal. His family has a place. We could go. And my
Yeah.
husband's like, I know, but obviously there's benefits to here and benefits to there, and it's nice if you have all of it in your life. But I love it. I love that I feel like your entire being now is about health, good health, mental health and physical health. And I love that for you. I love that you really have embraced that kind, lovely side of yourself. And now you're helping other people, which you were born to do. And I know that because I've known you through a lot of stuff that I've gone through, and you are just very healing. I want to go on one of your retreats. I want to seriously learn the Mary Firestone way of finding happiness through. I mean, what you went through in the mudslide is honestly one of the most horrific. I remember you had posted, or I read the story that they wrote about you, and I was like you can hear about, yes, someone was caught in a mudslide, but when you read that article that went through every minute of what you went through for those 4 hours, you were just like, wow, how do you get moved from that and become like this still positive, happy, healthy person that you've always been? It's crazy. I mean, I guess God gives you what you can handle, and you could handle that. I mean,
Well, thanks, Thea. And it has been, since the LA fires, I've had the opportunity to like really help people, and quite similar. I thought writing the book, I'm like, who's going to get a natural disaster? Like, what? But then, since then it's been the
you
whole,
have, so you've
yeah,
had, I know one of my closest friends ever lost her house in the Palisades. And Mary, I saw her when I was out there. First of all, I was at her house in October, and then the fires happened in January, like at her house. So that house is gone. Fine, horrible thing, whatever. But that community, the Palisades community that she had been in for 25 years, I mean, that was what it was. That was what she lost. That was the heartbreaking for all of them. I mean, come on, you're not poor if you live in the Palisades. What it was you lost these friends you've had since your babies were babies, and now your kids are in college and you've been together every day. I mean, I would go to the Palisades and visit her and walk around, and she knew everybody. So she
yeah,
lost like all of her close friends. So now we have these people who are scrambling, trying to relocate, and they want to be together. So they're all trying to relocate, and they're looking for houses. A lot of them went to Manhattan Beach,
mhm.
and now they're kind of settled at the Venice Canals. But what happened was a kid that was in high school at Pali High, who they had all grown up with. They grew up with my friend's son. He was walking down the street at night. I want to say he was even skateboarding, and he was hit by a drunk driver and killed. And now this is like a very prominent member of the community. And so these people have now had to go through this loss, which, by the way, might be partly because they are not in the safe Palisades where you can take your skateboard out and go crazy on the roads. And I'm just like, what more can these people go through? They've all lost like this. I mean, it just sounds crazy. It's not about things. It's all, not even for a second, is about what they lost in terms of a house or rebuilding their house. They're all going to be fine, but it's just a matter of losing, your friends and losing your community and your support system and your kids, their friends. And then to have that happen, I'm just like, done. I'm done, you guys. I can't, with the heartbreak that community has been through. They had this huge surf out for this kid, like all the high school kids went on their surfboard, and there was hundreds of kids out there for him. And they, at the graduation, they all wore flip-flops because he was a surfer and he wore flip-flops. And I'm like, all right, I can't for these people. It's really like affects, the mudslides. I'm sure it affected so many of your close friends and neighbors. And it's that community trauma that like helps you and heals you, but also makes it harder, because people you care about are hurt. People, it's not just you.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, how do you, right. Everyone's kind of in it together, which there is, there's something, well, actually in all my research for the book, like a communal trauma in a way, because it's like, everyone's going through it. You can kind of help each other through it together. And it's not like an isolated, like.
Right. Not like 9/11 being in New York for that. And just the feeling afterwards
Exactly.
was such a healing feeling, like, wow, I'm not the only one going through. And I love seeing how everyone came together. And that really like reaffirmed my faith in humanity, where I just had my faith in humanity completely decimated on that day. But then to see the aftermath, you do. So it is healing in a way. But then you have people you care about who have died, or people you care about who lost people. And so you have to deal with that kind of secondary trauma. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to tell you, but.
Yeah. No. Well, and it's not as isolated or personal. I think there's something about like trauma that feels so personal.
Right.
But like when it's something like a mudslide or a fire, then we can depersonalize more easily, and that allows for greater healing. When it's something like a sexual assault, something like that feels very personal and isolating, that can be a harder trauma to kind of access and release, I found.
Well, right. No. And those, the ones that you don't have anyone to share it with, exactly. That you have a friend who's going to help you get through it, or somebody who's going through it, that you can watch them and how they heal. I know it is hard. Well, you're doing the Lord's work out there with these retreats and with your speaking engagements and just like being yourself in the book they wrote. So I'm so proud to say that you're my friend. I know we haven't talked in a long time, but this is why I have the show.
I love it. It's so great.
Catch up with old friends. I still talk to Elaine. You still talk to her? I still talk to Elaine.
Not really. Steph Langhoff and I are still good friends, and I've met her husband, who's great. But no, Elaine, Deb and I kind of write every now and then.
Yeah, I am, because I run a Bravo fan page, and Elaine Goldsmith Thomas is a huge Bravo fan. This is like how we reconnected, because she will write me like, oh my gosh, can you believe what happened on Real Housewives, and whatever. So that's how we kind of reconnected after an absence of friendship. But I think she's hilarious.
She's a powerhouse. Well, didn't her book just got optioned or something? So go Elaine.
She's a powerhouse, but we definitely all had to probably go to a little bit of therapy after working for her as well.
Yes, true.
A little PTSD, and also like we all bonded. We spent 9/11 together, so we had that bonding, but it was trauma as well. But there's always, every Hollywood job is giving me trauma in some way. Everyone always says, like, sounds amazing. I'm like, was it amazing? It's pretty hard to work in Hollywood. You pretty much sell your soul on a daily basis. So I'm glad to see that both of us are doing other things with our lives. Otherwise, I've had a couple of people on the show that are like still in Hollywood, and I'm like, I don't know how you are out there doing what you're doing. I do not know how you're grinding like I ground in my 20s and 30s. Are you crazy?
I know. Well,
they all need your book. They need to read your book and find what works for them in your book. And then maybe if you can have personal and inner growth, you can deal with the harshness of the industry. But it's a hard industry.
It's a hard industry. I know. We just need to diffuse our sense all through like the agencies and Universal.
Well, Mary, so one more time, just say the name of your book.
Trusting the Dawn: How to Choose Freedom and Joy After Trauma.
And your perfumes.
The perfumes, Firestone Sisters. We have a website. We sell on the website and like maybe 24 retailers around the country.
Probably some like beautiful little boutique that I walk into that has like the most carefully curated things, and then your perfume, I can just picture it right there. Like, wow, I haven't seen this at Macy's. Okay, Mary. Well, thank you for coming on, and I'm so glad we got the chance to catch up. I'm such a huge fan and admirer of yours, and I just really believe in everything that you're doing right now. So I'm so proud of you.
Yeah, I'm so
Okay.
proud of you, and it's so good to see you.
All right, you too. Okay, love you. Okay, bye, guys. Talk to you
Bye.
later. Bye.